Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new module, Module 5. So hopefully you didn't were able to get through Module 4 without a problem. If you needed extra time to finish up some assignments, then you want to make sure that you're getting those in. Uh, as far as I just want to update you on the meeting with instructor assignment, as you can see that at this point, because I don't want everyone getting all anxious about because it is a grade. So I've actually excused the grades for those that you have already sent something in or I met with you. Then obviously your grade is still recorded. And for those who where it's excused, you don't have to worry about it impacting your grade at all. Uh, with that said, if you would please reach out to me and some of you have, and I haven't gotten a chance to look to you know, look at your essay and your questions. Make sure if you have some questions about the excerpt that you're sharing, you don't obviously share the whole essay. You could just share an excerpt of it and then um or a draft, whatever you have. And then just with a few very quick questions that I might be able to help you with. And so just yeah, that's all that is. And that what that goes for honestly from now until until the essays due. You can always I've said that from the beginning of the course that you can always just send me something that whether it be an introduction or just a thesis, but you have these opportunities within the course as well, because those are the assignments. One of the assignments is to identify three thesis statements and then choose the one that you liked best and explain why. That was module 3. So that's the whole point of the course, is a sort of you know, uh, scaffolding building up to the final problem solution essay and um, working out ways and finding strategies to improve upon your writing, whether it be a thesis statement, introduction. I try to give as much feedback as possible, but again, still, if you're still confused or you're not sure about, say, your introduction, you can always send that to me. So that's just an open kind of thing. So, but because it was part of an assignment and a grade, I think it creates a little bit of too much anxiety. So I just want to make sure those who haven't had a chance or aren't really sure what they want to ask about their essay aren't, won't still have time to do that. And it's and I don't want you to have to worry about it. Okay, so that's that for module 4. Module 5, you're going to be working on and some of you have already submitted the discussion post. With the discussion post, I'll say it again, make sure that you're also responding to your peers. So if you want full credit for that particular discussion post, make sure that you are responding to at least 2 of your classmates and their posts. And so you would want to post yours soon enough so it gives everybody time to have, a productive conversation. So with your yeah, with this one, so you're going to be working on maybe the conclusion, coming up with an idea for the conclusion, posting. I want you to focus on not posting your whole draft of your essay, but for the discussion post, you're merely choosing which option. So you can choose to post the problem paragraph that you have. So you can post that and then raise some questions that you have about that. And so please be aware that there are options of what to post. Don't just go ahead and post your whole draft for this discussion post. And it's just too premature to do that. So and maybe you want to post your solution paragraph. So remember, this is a problem solution. So you present the problem, what the issue is, and then in the subsequent paragraphs, you will talk about a solution and proposed solutions and what's happening now and how are we handling this situation? What do we need to do going forward? And then in your conclusion, it's pretty much a sum, well, it's not just a summation of all the ideas. You are rephrasing what you've already said throughout your essay, but just in a different way. So you want to make sure it's not too mechanical. You want to make sure that there's kind of a call for urgency. Um, and it's not just point by point reiterating of what you've already said in your writing. If you think of it this way, like when you're watching fireworks, you have the grand finale at the end, and that just kind of brings everything together. And it's kind of it should resonate. The ending, your final words on your topic. If you think of that, it should really stick with the reader and resonate with them. So if you think of it beyond just the mechanics of what you need to do for a conclusion, you might have an easier time writing it. I always say that you're not always sure what your conclusion is going to be, but at the end, it shouldn't be that difficult if you've really put your heart and soul into your paper and into your writing. If you've had a lot of conviction and it's very apparent, then when you get to the ending, it shouldn't be that difficult to say those final words. It's kind of like a writing to learn. You're actually, as you write and go along, you're becoming more aware yourself of how much you really feel about this topic, and you're getting to know it better, if that makes sense. Okay. So that's what I'll say about that. And then the assignment, I guess we can share the screen. Let me just see what I have here. I think I have it up. Okay. Yeah, so here we are, body, paragraph, and or conclusion review. So again, as I said, you will have options for the discussion prompt. You might choose option A, which is the problem paragraph. Post your problem paragraph where you explain the problem you're addressing, and then ask questions about specific aspects you'd like your peers to review. For example, does this paragraph clearly explain why this is a serious problem? What could I do to make it more compelling? Maybe it's not clear enough, or you don't have to use that particular question, but that's just an example of what you might ask about it. For option B, so you could do the solution paragraph, as I said, post your solution paragraph, and that's where you present the solution to the problem and ask questions about specific aspects you'd like your peers to review. For example, is my proposed solution realistic and well supported? What's missing or unclear? So in other words, what can I do better here? And remember, there's always room for improvement. So we can always find something to help each other with our writing, for sure. Option C, you might want to post the conclusion if that's what you really want some feedback on. Okay, so you're going to post your conclusion. And remember, this is just, it's not a permanent conclusion. It's just an idea that you have for closing on your essay. And say some people don't like conclusions at all. And so you might want to just get something down to share with others, some idea that you have, just to make sure you're on the right track. And then you can ask some questions about that. So this is either option A or B or C for the discussion post. You don't need to put them all out there. All right. And then in your response to peers, it's pretty much the same as previous posts. You want to try to be productive and be positive in your comments. Always point out something that that you like. There's always something to admire, right? And then something that might have been confusing. And then maybe just like one thing that could be improved. You can always offer to some, if you have some experience in this or your paper, you're writing about the same topic. Sometimes that happens. And so you might be able to help them out with a little bit more, if you have more experience with the topic yourself. Okay, so, and then we'll go to the next page. Okay, so then for the writing assignment, essay, body, and and conclusion. It must be the smoky air. It's getting to my brain. we have all the Canadian Fire. It's like we're in like a fire pit. It's the yeah. So, all right. So you're completing a problem solution research paper. Your goal is to identify. Well, we already know this. I feel like we're kind of repeating ourselves here, but you're proposing an evidence-based solution. Most of you, I have to say, were already sure of your topic and thinking about the problem solution before we get to this point. But definitely read it over, make sure you're understanding the criteria. Because I realize you have other things going on in your life, and it's not just this problem solution essay. And so, but I'm not going to read the whole thing for you. If we just go down to completing the assignment, you will. These are the goals. These are objectives that you're going to be meeting. So what you're really going to be doing is defining some real world problem. Obviously, it's usually something trending now or something that impacts not just you and your small circle of colleagues or coworkers, but a bigger, broader, range of people and society as a whole. Come up with a logical, realistic, research-supported solution. Organize your argument with body paragraphs. So you worked on that in the outline in the previous module 4. And that's why an outline is so important. It's kind of a blueprint for you so that you don't have to, it's not like you have to stick to it. It's not like carved in stone or anything. You can always deviate from that particular outline and kind of go off and, change a particular subtopic, or maybe you think you're going to cover, these 3 particular points in one paragraph under, one subtopic, and it just doesn't work out, and that's fine. Or and sometimes you need to reorganize things as you're writing. You realize that something fits better earlier on in the paper or later on in the paper. So those things are always kind of fluid. And then you're going to be using 3 sources. So you don't need to use 4 or 5 or 6. You want to use more than 1 or 2. So 3. So if you try to remember that, yeah. And then this is a shorter paper, so you wouldn't want to use too many sources. Anyway, it would get too confusing. It needs to be authentic. It should be in your voice. The sources are merely to support your what you have to say about it. Because remember, even if you have some experience on the topic and you know something about it, you have personal experience, it still needs to be supported by a credible source. And then you're always going to, keep in mind the APA and make sure, what do I see most often would be, you forget to put the in-text citation. So I'll just tell you that each paragraph that you write should always have at least one in-text citation. There should be a source for each paragraph. So just keep that in mind. So 1 or 2. And then ensure originality. That's really important to make sure that it's authentic, and make sure you're checking the Turnitin similarity report. That's where it shows up if there's too much that's copied from the source. So you have to make sure that it's not too high of a match. So if it comes back and, if it's above like 30%, it's getting, or 40%, then it's getting too high of a match. Anything that you take out quotes from a source always have to be in quotation marks with the citation. You can paraphrase. If you paraphrase, you still will need the citation, because even if you paraphrase and you're taking those words and taking words from the source and putting them into your own words, you still got the information from the source. So you're going to have to use the last name of the author, publication date, etc. And as you can see, honestly, it's pretty short paper, so it's 2 to 3 pages. Hence the reason we wouldn't want to have too many sources. But this is not counting the title. But always make sure you have a title page and a reference page. What else do I see? Sometimes we deviate way too much from APA. You want to make sure you have check out what the font should be. And it should be a Word document. You want to adhere to the formatting, the title page, go back and review what a title page looks like and a reference page. You're not just copying and pasting a bunch of links onto a page. It's set up in a particular way. And okay, and then there's all ways to this assignment uses Turnitin. So you want to maybe go back and review what the Turnitin is and how to read that report yourself so you don't end up submitting something with too high of a percentage for Turnitin. And then you run into a problem where I'm going to end up giving it back to you to redo. So what else? Refer to the final essay guide. Definitely, really pay attention to like the templates and the essay guide and any samples that are given you, because that can help a lot as well to see how something should look, how you should set it up. I guess I could. The rubric is here as well. We'll go into I'm just going to click on the final essay template. We'll just look at that quickly. Here it is. So this is so if you're not sure what a title page is, here it is. This is what it looks like, except it's going to have your information, your name, the college, the course, my name, and the due date. Very simple. It's very simple. And then your reference page looks like this. References indented, and then the sources are alphabetized, and they're also your three sources will be in hanging format, which means this part juts out and the other part indents. I don't know how else to say that. So that was quick. Okay. All right. So that's the template. I can stop sharing now. I can't think of anything else that I want to say about Module 5. Again, now's the time if you want. I do have a couple that emailed me some questions about their essay. I will be getting to those. I couldn't find my way home from the store because the air was so dingy and murky. It's kind of weird looking. It almost looks yellow out there. Yeah, I see some people that actually are wearing a mask because there's a lot of I guess it's the Canadian fires, and there might be fires somewhere else too, but it's settling, it's in the air. The particles are very low, and that's what's causing some smoky day. So I hope everything's going well for you. And again, just please email me if you want to Zoom. I'm available, very flexible. So just reach out to me and we'll sometimes if I don't see your email, it could be because I get so many. I'm so inundated with emails. So just reach out to me again. Just if you've sent me an email and I missed it for some reason. If some people were submitting things and still are. So if there's something that I missed that you could just feel free to email me about that as well. Alrighty, so I hope you have a wonderful, I guess it's hump day today, Wednesday. And that's it for congratulations on finishing module 4, module 5, and pretty soon we're coming close to the end of our summer semester. It's August 20, don't quote me on this. I think it's August 22nd. So we still got a ways to go. So don't get too nervous about things. We got some time. All righty. Take care and I'll see you soon.